So I think one of our responsibilities here is to act like a band is still continuing. We're going on. We're doing our exploration. We're exploring ourselves individually. We're exploring our relationships. And we really need to get together, talk about this, act like the band exists because it does exist. And if we don't do that, then we are the co-producers of the process slipping off the planet.
It was a bit of a shit sandwich, though. What is it? The unraveling of a band? And then there were two? Yeah.
So, a good friend of mine phoned me, and he knew where James was.
Really?
Yeah. He couldn't even imagine James doing anything for 6 months.
I'm prepared for the worst.
I'm pretty confident that, you know, we will come together when the time is right. But knowing when that time will come, or not knowing when that time will come, is very, very uncomfortable.
I hope that at some point he will come back and try and finish the making of this record. If he walked away from Metallica, I'm not sure that it would surprise me. I've always felt that James was a softer, more caring, compassionate person than he allowed himself to be to most people. I can remember from the Dave Mustaine days, I mean, when him and Dave Mustaine, these guys, they started like right away with their big, you know, chest beating and their mannerisms, and the whole thing was very much about this kind of like macho, and it was just like I couldn't deal with that stuff. And I mean, looking back on it, I mean, was that 18, 19 years ago? I mean, I just felt so alienated because it was just so far removed from the upbringing that I come from.
Well, here's to you, my friends.
But then at the same time, I'm starting to realizing now that the sort of depressive things that show up as a result of the alcohol and stuff like that, it was just very difficult for him to communicate from the heart and not hide behind a lot of these different fronts, whether it's alcohol that gives him a false sense of strength, or the front man in Metallica, or, you know, macho bullshit and all that stuff.
All right, now you guys are drunk and I'm drunk. Now this is the fun part, man.
I want to help him. I want to be there for him, and I want to do the best I can to make him the best person that he can be. So I don't know how the fuck it's gonna play out.
It's really healthy for me to be here without any pressure or anything related to the band or anyone who would remind me of the band, and recognize what's real. Our sessions with Phil really stirred up a lot of things in James that he felt that he needed to address. Mentally, it's really taken its toll on myself, you know, because I'm very worried about him. And you know, whenever you check yourself into rehab, they don't focus on, you know, the fact that you're an alcoholic. They go much deeper, you know. I mean, they go way deep. They crack you open and then spill you out and examine all the things that are on the table. I've spoken to him a few times, and, you know, I know he's having a rough trip. No matter how bad it gets, eventually, things seem to sort themselves out, sooner or later. Whether it's good or bad, they sort themselves out.
I watched people around the world say what a great guitar player Kirk is.